Hello, listeners. We are back. Welcome to episode 4 of Avocation to Climb. Coming at you once a month, three of the 4 top gamer score holders in Australia. We're joined by special guests from across the massive pond, I suppose, Paddy, today, coming in from the UK as well. I appreciate all of you. Of course, I'm the talking donkey that doesn't really turn on the Xbox at the moment, so I'm going to get out of the way. I know this week sees the start of GTASC. I believe that's the correct pronunciation on the True Achievements site. This is like the mecca. This is like the Olympic gold of the Xbox. This is why you play that fucking system, I'm told, not for the lack of games. Of course, if you are over on the PlayStation Trophy side, they do a similar thing, the GTASC or some such. We're going to talk tonight about their war stories. These guys have been in it many times. They've won it on 1 or 2 occasions, and I'm sure they've fucked over many people along the way. So we'll get into that. Of course, if you want to join, it is too late, I believe. The cutoffs have now closed, but I know quite a few of the listeners are joining. Of course, we won't talk PlayStation tonight, but if you do want to come and check us out, I am playing with the world #1 trophy holder at the moment, the wonderful Ike Menzies from Japan, the man that buys the whole store. He leaves me in awe, and his good friend #7 in Japan, Kabolov, as well. So come and cheer us on. Look, we are playing on the Xbox side as well with the wonderful Styling and Rick, but we're just there for the fun. So look, let me get out of the way. How are you tonight, Meph, Rogue, 1992, and Madeyepadeye?
I'm very good, thank you for having me again.
Rogue, how you going?
Hear me now. I'm doing good. First time back.
It is good to have you back, sir.
I slept through last time. I did try to get on last cast, but I was in my chair. I was all ready to go. Then I thought I'd have a bit of a nap. Woke out 4 hours later, but I was all very groggy and not in the best of ways. So, I'm here this week. How you all doing? Let's get amongst it.
Yeah, you'll make up for it. And Paddy, thanks for joining us again. How you doing?
Yeah, no worries. I'm a little bit disappointed that Rogue turned up, because then I would have been on 2 and he would have been on 2, and I don't know whose podcast it would have been.
Jeremy J1's podcast.
Well, it is a revolving door of hosts, so who knows who'll be here next time. So look, we are gonna talk stats and all those wonderful numbers towards the end, but we're gonna jump into this GTASC. Paddy, you mentioned it at the start. I want to hear the war stories in particular, but why don't we just start before we get into that with what you think of the changes? Because when you did it, I believe it was just like a balls to the wall, the most amount of gamer score. Now it's a TA difference score or whatever else. So could we just touch on what that is, perhaps? If one of you can explain it to me, and then we go from there.
Yeah, it's like you said, originally when we competed, it was whatever the TA was for a game, that's what you got as a player or team member. And now they do the difference between the gamer score and TA. So obviously if a game's 1,000 gamer score and the game's worth 1,021 TA, you only actually get 21 TA. So they've made it so a lot of the easier games are really not viable. So you can't have someone smash off 10 1-hour games and have 10,000 gamer score, TA, against someone that maybe have played 3 8 hours and got the same amount of TA. So to be honest with you, for me, they've taken the choice out of it for the gamer. Now it's you have to play those long grinds. Originally, I think it was to try and stop preloading, but if anything, it's even more prevalent.
Yeah.
How do you two feel about it, Rogue and Meth?
You go, Rogue.
Well, I think it's shit personally. I won't compete again. There's multiple reasons why I won't commit. I won't compete, I should say, but I also can't commit. But it just is what it is. I mean, as Paddy said, then why would I fuck around and I can only play these couple of games and do these bits and pieces here? It's just shit, isn't it? Like, what happens if I wake up tomorrow and I want to play this here? Well, I can't play that game. That game only gives me 15 points. That game gives me 9,000 points. I just download a load of Game Pass games that are 2 hours because everyone just smashes fucking Game Pass games and leaves them there with 12,000 TA or 15,000 TA. I was playing Descenders the other day. A very good game. I popped, 45,000 TA? And it has, what's it dropped down to? Meth? You can keep
Yep.
talking for a second. I'm just going to check to see what it's actually dropped to.
All right.
Because I think it was about 47,000 when I was playing it the other day.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? They took away the ability of choice, and not everybody. I've said it before, but not everybody can keep smashing easy 0 to 1 hour games. So I kind of think they did it to level the playing field a little bit. But really, I don't want to say you're excluding, because we could all do it again. We could, but we're gamerscore people. So why are we going to sit and play 8-hour games when that's not the way we play anymore, is it? That's not what we do.
I want to ask you about this though, because this is the big thing on the PlayStation side is, these people just spam these 5-minute games. You can't catch them in a straight point-to-point contest or whatever. And, I'll be grouping up, as I
Be
said,
more
with
efficient with your time.
Well, exactly. But grouping up with a guy that's a massive spam hunter like myself. Now that they're all, finally, it's fair because you can't just blast away thousands of trophies a day and win. But the reality is, there are a lot of shortcuts in these type of formats. You mentioned Game Pass as well. On the PlayStation side, there were games like Party Golf, which I imagine is similar, disgusting on the Xbox, where they're such inflated TA scores for a game that is not difficult or long. And there's plenty of these gems. I'm not going to give out them all at the moment, but there are plenty of ways to work the system, I always thought as well. So I don't know if it is fairer. Do you think?
Well, I'm not saying it's fairer. I'm just saying I think this is going to sound very egocentrical, but they started changing the rules a lot when we started winning. We went back to back, and I don't think the hosts really liked that very much. And while we were doing that, Redemption Denied, who has won multiple as well.
Our teammate. Only competition he won was our teammate.
He's won solos though.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
not
you had to
team.
come over to us to.
I
win
don't
team.
think they really liked the dynasty we kind of had. They didn't like us winning and then adding like the best solo player as our fourth for the year after. I don't think that really went down very well. So the year after that, they changed the rules and added all those weird bonuses. Do you remember?
We would have won that as well if it wasn't for our our
maybe
teammate having a sort of everyone knows what happened.
an issue. But yeah, so they kind of I don't know. But then even when they did that, there was another team that came along and they won a couple. But remember all the accusations of cheating, and there was like 4 of them.
Is that the team that was 4 of them living across the street?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know because we didn't do it, so we weren't really involved in the forums. But it's it feels like I can see why they've done the TA difference thing because this isn't the first year they've done that, is it? They did it last year too, I think.
I think it's 3 years in a row.
3. There you go.
I don't want to butt in.
It doesn't really change anything because the way we kind of won was preloading, and that's the way it's kind of always been. And this, if anything, makes preloading even more important. If you know,
yeah.
So I don't know really what they gain. It doesn't really change anything, if you know what I mean. Like a committed team a really committed team is gonna make it the whole way anyway, regardless of the structure and rules. So yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's fair. I just think it's a change, and for whatever reason they've decided to keep running with it. And I don't know. I don't think I'll ever compete again. So
if it's working for them now, that's all you can say. We're not competing, but again, they don't probably want us in there. So
there's no reason why we couldn't. Well, other than cut-offs are finished, but we couldn't compete and do very well again. The rules.
I mean, if we competed, we actually committed properly, we'd put a fair whack into it.
Which we're not. I'm never doing it again. But we could. I'm saying that we could. There's nothing stopping us. Like the rules aren't stopping people that are committed from doing well.
Yeah. Except Madeyepadeye. Madeyepadeye would stop us.
Yeah.
No. That's 2030. I think we should go preload now, because you talking about obviously them, as in when I say them, is in the host, because GTASC used to be a competition that wasn't actually run on the True Achievements website.
Yeah.
So it was actually it scraped TA's data to get the actual information from TA for TA score.
It was run on TA the second time we won it, though, wasn't it?
I think it was. It was always run. Obviously, you had to be a member of TA to be able to do it.
It was a side website. It used to be a side website.
But yeah, it scraped the data off it, and then obviously as TA got more sort of popular, and they started doing their own sort of competitions, and they were asking people about different ways of maybe doing competitions. I think Plantin, who runs the GTASC, brought it towards obviously TA, and then it's been integrated into the site, and I like that part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think the issues they had with changing it to TAD, as they call it, TA deference, has changed in anything, because the issue with what we did when we were sort of doing it really hardcore is there's now a team that have won it 3 years,
Yeah.
and they're Game Pass guys. There's a guy called, I can only talk through one of them, Jimbot, because he's a friend on TA, and he's hardcore, and he does everything, and they preload, and he went originally, I think it was another competition on TA. They all met through that, and they decided they'd compete together, and obviously the TA difference hasn't stopped them winning multiple games, competitions as such. So, like you're saying, Meth, is we could compete if we wanted to. It's just none of us have got the drive. We did it when it was cool. It's not cool anymore.
Yeah, I love that, old gentleman. Well done, sirs. But look, before we get into the war stories, because that's what I really want to hear about, because there's always some sick, twisted, and depraved fucking shit that goes on in these things, as the upstanding gamer score holder would not know, but I'm sure they're eager to find out from you three. But just before I do, the other big change, I think, is that it used to run, correct me if I'm wrong, for 25 weeks. It's now been shortened down to
It's
15 weeks.
52 weeks. It was
52.
weeks.
See,
48
we
weeks,
did it.
50.
that
Yeah.
is a big commitment. Yeah.
But the reality of that is, you're not even really. You don't. Well, again, I'm
You
going to
didn't
sound
even
very.
need to turn up before July.
Yeah,
August.
gamers like us who play it every day anyway don't even need to really look at the leaderboards for the first half of the year in a year-long one. So I think that's why they condensed it down to make it as exciting from week one as possible, which is a good change, I think. That's good, because there was just so many dead weeks. But those dead weeks allowed you to preload more and more and more. So they probably helped. Would you say that they would have helped in a way?
They would,
boys?
but they wouldn't. But I mean, it was like there were weeks when it was negative cutoff, and it was
Yeah,
just
you
like
didn't even have to score to survive.
didn't even have to do anything. Like, because
Yeah.
idiots would get in there and they drop.
They drop a brand new
fucking-
game.
Well, let's say Descenders. I was just talking about because I just checked it. It was 23,000 and dropped to. Easy game still, but so it's 23,000 for a couple of achievements isn't hard in the slightest. But people who drop it get the 47 grand, lose 23 grand next week,
And you
and
can't
the
make that
fucking
up.
week you can't make that up.
No.
You just have to play the new Game Pass game.
Yeah, that is a wonderfully unique thing about this competition, though.
That is
You
true.
can go into the negative.
Yes. So you could be foolish, and if you were really desperate, use something to save you, but then you're screwing yourself for the next week.
Yeah,
But
progressive.
as long as if you're committed, you're not going to play those games week one anyway. You're just not. So it's yeah.
Which is why I've still got bunches of those games still wrapped
Yeah. You just yeah.
that I had since day one, and that was 7 years ago. And they're still not touched.
I love it. So look, I want to cast your minds right back to your first one, and maybe go from there. Share whatever stories you like. But what I'm particularly interested just to start with is, I don't think I've asked this before of you, so I'm interested. I know Rogue he's very good at sussing out who he's going to play with. He definitely tips the scales as far as possible in his favor whenever possible. I've realized that about the Sir over this course of this year. Look, many people would call him an angle shooter, but look, I'm not here to do that. Of course, he's just a smart man.
I mean,
with his,
I
his
like to
teammates.
think for like this here. I'm not here to fuck around. I'm here just to
Yeah,
win,
of
basically. I'm
course.
not. Why would I go into a game with or a competition with, say, I know, some fuckwit that drops nothing or
No, of course.
hasn't. Let me hang on. How to word this properly? Maybe has the score, but can't. Well, if you tell them they have to score more than 1,000 points a week or a couple of thousand points a week, that's all they'll do. Because I mean, I've had people recently in competitions, and that's what they've said. Oh, I can do this here. That's what I'll drop. But in these sort of competitions, that's just not good enough. You need to score everything. Because I'm not going to score fuck all. I put the team together. That's not my job. My
That's
job's
true.
my job's to walk away as captain. Your job's to fucking carry me.
See, the good thing about Rogue as captain. Sorry to once
No.
again talk over the top of you. Rogue is a great captain. I'll give him that. He was a good rallier of the troops. And
Also pulled Redemption from nowhere.
Well, it was just very, very nice for Redemption to join us, and everybody just remembers the fact that Redemption was smashing it, and
Got
we
me a
didn't need
jacket.
to because, well,
Redemption
yeah,
did his job. Redemption did his job. He got me a jacket. That's what Redemption did.
We didn't have to smash.
There is nothing wrong with signing the world #1 player to your team, sir.
It was
nothing
do you know
wrong
what,
with
though?
that at all.
I know we're going to talk about that there later, but the second one was actually a letdown because he smashed it that fucking hard. We didn't even need to score, and it was just like, well, I suppose we'll just hold what we've got.
I was depressed by how much he scored.
Depressing. Like second place in that round was like 15k, and he'd put up 160k, and it was like,
It
well,
just didn't.
yeah,
to do.
what's the point?
it was the week before final
Yeah.
week that was the hardest because
Yeah, it
every
was.
single team, it was like they knew that we were going to drop so much score, and it was like, oh, the only way we're going to actually take them out is if we like blindside them now. And
Yeah.
one of my friends was on the top team of the week before, who beat us to that particular week, and then they literally had nothing left the following week, whereas they didn't have to go as hard.
Did
And
they also not say? Was it them? They also not say? We had to go this week because we're not going to win next week.
Yeah, basically, but they knew that.
Which creates a problem because they're using everything they got, but obviously we can't use everything we got because we still have to worry about the week after. So when they are dropping those 0-1s, because you could play the easy games then, we couldn't use them. So we had to save them. So
By the way, how good must we have been if we got into these rounds without using them, while
Yeah,
everyone else had
that's
to
right.
drop them to get there?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Use your time better.
So
Be
so
more
how did
efficient.
you? So we've established you're there to win, which is fair enough. We're not New Zealanders. We're not here to fuck sheep. You're there for a purpose or whatever else. So how did you?
Shout out to Neo Master.
Oh, you dropped him in
Shots
it. Well done.
fired.
You mean the number 2 in Oceania? Sorry.
No.
Is he dropped off again?
No.
I
He
saw
slowed down, but
He, was,
he will always be there.
he started coming like he was a house on fire. Then I sort of wondering. I bet this guy will last maybe 6 days, 7 days. Did he fall off again?
He's slowed down, but it's
Has he
going to be
got
a slow
the,
grind to get back up to him.
The intestinal
Anyway, keep going.
fortitude?
Sorry, I derailed this.
No, that's fine. So how did you, as we said, Rogue, he's particular about who he plays with. So how did you come together as a team for that first time then?
Well, first time that was the second time. The second year was the one we won. Our first year, we had Mephisto. He was from buying games with me when I was ripping him off. Got him in there.
I scored fuck all at that point. I wasn't even above 200k then.
We
Mental.
grabbed. I don't know how we got Shin. I actually can't remember how we got Shin. We got Paddy because we were trying to get someone else, and they recommended Paddy. They said Paddy's all right. I don't talk to that fella anymore. The other fella's a dick. Anyway, he told us to get Paddy, so we got Paddy, and it went all right. And that's basically how it turned in. I think Shin was a known quantity, sort of. You saw his score and you thought he was good. Then you realise the cunt's like, I've got to complete every single game. I can't start this new game. I can't do this. I can't do that. I won't buy TA Pro. I won't buy this. I won't do that. I can only get games if I rent them.
Yeah.
You realise this cunt's a little bit off the track.
No
Well,
preloading.
he was just more realistic in the way he gamed. We were just mental. Well, I mean, just
Look,
like he wasn't
if you're
built
going
the
for
way
the win,
we
you've
were.
got to be mental. Of course,
Yes,
we
it's
lost
true.
that year. We lost that year because we wanted a controller, and that's when we decided after that there we'd never go for side prizes in the competitions again.
Yeah.
Because we
I
That's true, we
deliberately lost.
we would
No,
have
we
won that
didn't.
round.
We didn't
We would've won
deliberately
that year.
lose. We tried
We
to get a
would've-
prize, and
We
that
beat
cost us.
ourselves. We beat ourselves. We would have run that year, and the team that beat us admitted that.
Yeah,
we
we
would've
would have
beaten
won that year too. We would have.
We would have destroyed that year. But we were. What was it? What did we have to get the lowest ratio?
Yeah, it was the
Is that what
lowest
it was?
Stupid.
lowest ratio per pop on average.
Yeah.
No, it was lowest
Was it most
gamer
zero?
score, lowest
We had,
TA,
so we
something
were
like
we were like say 10 from the bottom, and like in safety, and we were trying to pop 0 G achievements.
that. So which gave you
Yeah.
no points for the comp,
Yeah.
and then a team jumped us at the cutoff, and we
Yeah,
got
and
eliminated.
we sort of fucked ourselves. If we weren't absolute imbeciles, we would have just went and dropped fucking 3k and it would have been clear. But if we had dropped 3k, we would have ruined ourselves. So greed beat us that time.
Yeah.
Nothing but greed.
Captain's
Team didn't
choice.
beat us. The team didn't beat us. We beat ourselves.
We vowed to come back bigger and better, though, didn't we?
We came
gonna
back.
Shut the fuck up, Rogue.
I'm going to throw the lifeline at you there, Paddy, because I can see you trying to get in here.
Yeah, it was Rogue's. Well, when I say Rogue's decision, it was a team decision.
It was a
to,
team decision.
Go
It was
for
a
the
team
side,
decision.
the side prize, which actually I think was a Cronus Max, or the first iteration of a Cronus device pre Xbox One. But I didn't know what it was, and I just like, I'm like a magpie. It's shiny. I want it.
What I want to check is Rogue's team decision done before he pushes the eject from team button or after?
Well, I think Saturday was the cut-off day, and I think I made that decision on Friday afternoon.
When did you let the guy know? A couple of weeks later?
It probably went something like this here. Right, I want this control. We're in a good position. Let's win it. We're going to win everything this year, boys, so we may as well win this year as well. That's probably how the conversation went.
I just remember shouting at my Kinect because I was trying to play a game called Top Hand Rodeo, and it's got a couple of 0G achievements, and I was shouting at it because none of them would pop. And as I was shouting at it, I was looking at TA and realising that we're slowly falling out of the actual bracket that we needed to be in. So I'm like, oh, we need to score points. Rogue's like, no, we need 0Gs, and I'm like, no, we need to score points.
It didn't help. This was also like 4 a.m. in the morning, 3 a.m. Me and Mephisto had been up for like 4 hours, and we were like heavily sleep deprived.
Yeah.
It was also a bad time. It was a bad time zone for us that year.
That was a bad time zone. Yeah, I remember. I think we pulled an all-nighter, actually.
Well, I think the first night, the final week, I think we slept most of the day. Got up sort of 11. I think 11 was 11 o'clock the cutoff or 3 o'clock the cutoff, something like that. But we ended up waking up at like say 3, and just went all night first day. Well, this was the year after. I should say this was the year after the year we won it, and we just dropped like say 70k on the first day,
which is nothing now.
Ahead.
Yeah, that's
which is nothing.
Now.
Yeah. I did 50k myself. I did 50k a month ago in a day without even scoring.
It's mental.
Without preloading.
Yeah, but that wouldn't count now. You probably got about 40.
7 points.
40.
So in the second year, you go on to win it. But, you know, the great thing about these are they're massive ego boosters, these sort of events. And it always leads to some great sledging. I already get a feeling you three are very beloved in the community, the competitive circuit. But let's lead on that a little bit. How's that side of it all?
Well, the first year we did win, I don't know if Rogue wants this to be out there, but we almost got, like, disqualified 2 weeks before. So I mean, the quarterfinal week we were lead like we.
I think I was in the right.
And he's starting fights in the forum for the comp, and I'm like, Rogue, you're gonna get us kicked out with like 2 weeks to go.
I think I was in the right.
Yeah, whether you were right or wrong, it was wrong in the site's eyes. So
I mean,
they had to be deleted.
Wasn't to do with the site. Site should have kept its fucking English to itself.
I don't even. Yeah, we were probably lucky to not get kicked out.
I mean, 14 people got to that point, and it was all just pure pandemonium in there.
Yeah,
it would have been a lot if one went down. But I think if it happened nowadays, it would have been. It was a lot more hectic back then, though. It was a lot more hectic and a lot more aggressive.
It was more hectic then because you were in it.
But also, a lot of the people they've eradicated from TA.
Our team's always been great. We've had this year win, we had the second win. Then the third year, we brought in Seth. And Seth just carried on my legacy of those there forums like an absolute beast. It was great. I didn't have to cause shit myself because he'd start shit left, right, and centre. Oh, it was fantastic. Good
See, what I
times,
wanna-
really.
Shut the fuck up, Rogue.
I want to ask you, and we'll throw to you, Paddy, because I see you're trying to get in here again. He's not letting you, is he?
No.
I want to ask is because, like, I'm not, deep enough immersed in the Xbox community to really know if it's all fun and games or if there are some really deep-seated sort of, mean and hatred in some of these, things. Because over in the PlayStation side, there definitely is, but they're toxic people by and large. And I'll never forget, perhaps stalking someone's profile for ideas, and the next day I woke up to a message on my console with a picture of my tag or whatever else and the word creeper and stalker written all over it because it had somehow left a digital print on their profile that I'd been there. And I was like, whoa, that's a bit intense, because I didn't know this person. And they definitely meant it.
Picture of your dick.
Well, look, I won't I have to find it first, but but see, this is what I'm wondering because a lot of these people. Do you is it just niggling for fun's sake, or is there a bit of
It
underneath?
depends. You push a few people's buttons. Most of our banter is just friendly banter. I mean, we had this one fella, right? Mephisto was like, "Hey, why don't you come? Why don't you? Your team's okay. His team was okay. His team probably could have won it." And Mephisto was like, "How about you? Drop your team this year, and then next year you join us, and we'll get you the win." And he was like, yeah, no problem. Of course, next year we fucked him off. So he went private, lost his team in the competition, and we still didn't help him. Because, I mean, to be honest, it's like this here. How can you trust somebody that does that to their own teammates?
So Paddy, what's it like playing on a team like that, where you could be cut at any second?
Paddy's been cut 17 times.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Rogue can't find anybody else that will put up with his shit.
I found Oriel.
That's
I found
basically what it
Oriel.
is. No, Oriel. I mean, I had to say that I weren't going to play that year because I talking about we won 2 in a row. I had a daughter, and Rogue's like, "Yes, we're going 3 for 3," and I'm like, "Do you know what? I don't know if I can do this again."
Paddy abandoned the team that year. He abandoned the team.
With good
Yeah,
reason.
but then,
Come on.
like you said,
mean,
you
he's got a
picked up
wife.
Seth then. Yeah, I'd always got a wife, but when you've got a crying baby and you're like, do I ignore the wife or do I feed the child or do I carry on playing Xbox?
I mean, there's
The
only
wife
one
is an
choice.
easy decision to ignore. The child
Mate.
who's screaming at you, I can't do that.
Nah, you
I
can't.
don't like annoying my wife, so
Yeah.
I would have always said I was. I mean, between the team members, Meph's always been the peacekeeper because me and Rogue go at it because I've got a lovely impulse to try and wind him up because it's like I've always told my wife I was put on this earth to annoy her. It's very similar to Rogue. I like to annoy Rogue. It's just fun. So Meph has always been like the person that would be like, "No, don't say that," or "He's right, just shut up." And I can see him like tapping us both on the shoulder, like, "Look, you're in the right there, Pad. No, you're in the right there, Rogue." But obviously,
We have a
telling
good
us both
story
exactly the same.
about three weeks before the final in the year we won, if not a bit closer to the final. For about 2 weeks, we never spoke to each other.
It's true.
We were going into parties for like 7 people trying to boost stuff, and we'd both just be muted at each other. It made things so hard.
We had Facebook chats, just the 3 of us, and like all the time, Rogue would just leave the chat all the time, and I'd have to try and get him back in there, because you need to be able to communicate. You have to, but yeah, Paddy winds Rogue all the time, and I try and
fix it as
it.
well.
True.
Trying to get me to be the bad guy. This is what I got to deal with. They gang up on me. They bully me.
No.
They ruin my gaming experience.
So Paddy is playing under the captain that is Rogue, this enigma of bullshit that he likes to spin. Is it that you want to do well because you want to impress this man and his hard standards, or is it more like fuck this cunt? I'm just going to show him, fuck off, basically.
I mean, you can't really ask Paddy that. There, he put 30k up in the final in the year we won.
Shut the fuck up, Rogue. I put more than 30k up Thank you very much. No, it's basically he would like disappear for weeks on end, and to be honest with you,
I
he
didn't
did.
used to do that. I
He,
didn't used to do
no,
that.
no,
That was
Rogue,
before.
let me
That was
speak.
before. I
You got achievements, and then you'd fuck off. You'd leave us be for 2 weeks, and then you'd come back, and then it would be like, look at me, I'm on top of the fucking world. You'd be like Kate and Jack from Titanic on the end of the boat with your arms open, like, come and yeah, look at me, I'm Billy Big Balls. And then you go back playing some other bullshit and leave us for a bit. And then you'd be like, yeah, I'm back here again. I've got loads of points, and then you die off again. And that's your style.
Well, any dictator has to leave the peasants for a while to just scrounge up the score.
Yeah,
So...
but the thing is with Rogue, he treats everybody exactly the same. It doesn't matter if he likes you, you're his friend for life. If you do something wrong with him, he cuts you off, and then he comes back because in the end of the day,
guy that Paddy who advertised that we should have Paddy in the team.
Oh yeah, he's an exception. I think he's ran away from it. And talking about getting me on the team is because we did something very similar to the GTASC on a separate website, ran by the hosts of the website. Like it was like a forum.
AHPM,
And
wasn't
the
it?
reason why I got invited to the original team is because I beat Rogue, and he didn't like it, and that's why he's not saying
me?
it.
I won. I was minor premiership. Because the year we finished third in the main competition behind Chunker and Redemption's team, and the hosts.
In score, I beat you. That's why you brought me
I mean,
in.
I don't even take the second part of the competition seriously. If we can't win it, why bother dropping points?
Uh,
That's like saying Jeremy J1
but
is a better gamer than
saying...
me because I haven't been scoring points.
Yeah, but you're also going, I won the minor premiership. So what is it that or is it not?
Do you
so
have a
you can't
Did you
say
win a
you won
trophy?
something and
Did
be
you
all
win
like,
a
yeah,
trophy?
look
I
at
won a
me.
trophy. I won a trophy. Did you win a trophy?
I don't remember you winning any trophies. I remember you sending me a lovely signed football shirt as my trophy. Did you?
That was a Christmas present. That was a Christmas present.
That was to say thank you for bringing you the competition that you always wanted to win. That was a Christmas present
because you were my teammate and my friend.
And we didn't.
I look after me friends.
No, that's a lovely thought. Look, I want to ask you, Paddy. I'll put you on the spot first, but I'm interested in each of your answers. So when you do these things, there's inevitably moments that stick out in your mind, usually from other gamers or other teams, where they just do something and you're just like, "What the fuck is going on over there?" Were there any of these sort of moments for you guys? Did you see anything you'd never seen before, or just something so bizarre off the wall that you just had to pick your jaw up off the ground?
I mean. I can't remember exactly when it was, but I remember a team playing a Kinect game, and they were all completely over the different places in America. They were completely, literally, East Coast to West Coast, and for one day randomly, they all played the same 3 Kinect games, and we're like, what's going on here? You don't live anywhere near each other. How are you? And they tried to say they joined up for the weekend, and it's something they did every year. And I don't know if they did or not, but it was very fishy in my eyes because they all played exactly the same games, all got the same gamer score within a very short period, and it just was a massive red flag.
Games that if you were playing it for the first time yourself, you wouldn't have been able to smash out in the time. Every time the game was getting shorter and shorter.
Yeah, so it was basically the person was learning. It seemed to me that one person played it on their own tag and went, do you know what? That's quite a good TA. I can do that, and I've done it. Let's do it again. And then give me your account. I'll do it. And then the next one, like Rogue said, it got shorter and shorter and shorter. And then some of it was party games, so it was like 4-person party games. I mean, I've just come back from a weekend with some friends playing party games, and literally, we got shitter and shitter at it. We didn't get any better, but I think that's mainly due to the amount of alcohol we drank.
Yeah. We talked about that last time.
I don't know many people that go over to people's houses, like from all over the country, just to go play video games. I mean, I went to Mephisto's place in Adelaide.
Yeah.
To watch the cricket.
Yeah, we didn't really play.
No, we didn't play anything.
Yeah.
We just went and watched the cricket, and then I mean, I was there for like 8 hours, to be fair.
I definitely think people get together and play video games because I do it at least like I try and do it every other month with some friends here in the UK.
Yeah.
And but so the actual getting achievements with each of that I understand, but even back then there wasn't many places that could hold 4 grown men jumping around playing Connect. I just that was one thing that came up that I was like, that's a bit dodgy. But I think
Maybe not many places you've been to, sir, but
Uh,
in my life I've
I
experienced
mean,
a
I
few.
live in the UK. The houses are, unless you've got a nice sort of living room space, the houses are a little bit pokier than the ones over in your neck of the woods.
Okay, look, we don't all live in hobbit villages. So, Meth and Rogue, now what about you? Is there some bizarre shit you've seen?
Well, can I go first?
Yeah.
Please.
Well, to start with, this was the year after when Madeyepadeye left. We saw one fella decided that he wanted to be big balls to week 1 of the competition and drop a 700 ratio achievement. So what do you do when someone decides to be big balls and drop a 700 ratio achievement?
You need a little bit more context, Rod.
Let me
'Cause
get
that was the year-
I'm asking the question. What do you do if someone drops a 700 ratio achievement? What do you do? Well, obviously, what you do is you make that 700 ratio achievement a 7 ratio achievement by adding every single person on the Xbox that's ever won the achievement. Because you don't take that slap in the face. You're not. I'm not sitting here. I'm not on Pornhub. I'm not a person on Pornhub. I'm not getting turkey slapped. So there you go. If you want to do that there and make yourself a big boy, you take him out the game. I'm not here. I mean, I like to live dangerously. I'm one of the elite.
You need a little bit more context for that, because that was the
you're better at context than I am.
yeah. You're shit at telling stories, but
I lay groundwork. I make it sound good at the start. I grab headlines.
It was week 1 of the comp, and we decided they had all these bonuses that if you led the comp, you got a 2,000 point bonus that you could use at any time. If you had the highest ratio for the week, you got a 2,000 point bonus, and there was a couple of others. But we decided week 1 we were going to make a statement and like win the week, win the ratio, take like 4,000 bonus. That's what we decided we were going to do, and things were going great. We were like top, and then this team, as Rogue said, decided to drop a ridiculously hard, well, not hard, but long achievement.
Time-consuming achievement.
It's in Elite Dangerous, which is, yeah, it was at the time at least the hardest achievement in that game, and that game's got a ridiculous amount of TA. And as I'm a numbers guy, I try to crunch the numbers to see, because that put them back ahead of us and what we would need to score to go back ahead of them, at least in terms of ratio. And it was something stupid, like we needed like 10,000 gamer score at a 4 ratio, or, you know, and obviously that was going up and down depending if, you know, if you wanted to like go at a 5 ratio, we'd only need like 8k, but it was like really tough. And yeah, then we come up with the idea of, well, why don't we try and lower their ratio instead? And the only way you can really do that is by, you know, more people popping that really rare achievement. So we trolled through the Elite Dangerous forums and found people that also had this achievement.
They have a like a Hall of Fame for people who have this achievement.
Yes,
I should tell you the achievement. It has a Hall of Fame.
That tells you how hard and long the achievement is. So we went about and added all these people to TA, and
It wasn't a hard achievement no more.
It didn't tank it a ridiculous amount, but
It
tanked
dropped them from about 80 to about 20.
Well, the problem is when it's something so rare, even one pop can affect it like crazily. So when you're adding, I don't know how many we did add, maybe 10, I can't remember exactly. That did tank the achievement, and yeah. That was...
Who got the achievement? Who was it?
I don't know. Some knobhead.
I can't remember who it was. But
some dude out there still grinding his teeth over that. Bastards.
I mean, if they're grinding their teeth, they should look at it like this here. Don't be a dickhead and try and be clever.
We might have let him have it if he didn't like boast about it in the forums.
Probably
as well.
Probably
and then because I don't know. I know how TA kind of works, but because this is like one of the end achievements in the game. Really, it didn't just tank that one achievement; it tanked like every achievement leading to it. So for weeks and weeks and
Clancy
weeks,
wasn't a big fan for us.
he was getting decayed, and it ended up like they got to a point where the decay like killed them in like week 3. So that kind of made me feel a little bit bad. We didn't want people to get eliminated, but
I mean, that's exactly what you're trying to do. That's the
Well,
whole point of the competition.
yeah, but that was just an
Victory over lesser men.
unintended side effect.
Victory over lesser men.
That's the ultimate reason why you should only ever play Ratalaika, because the decay will never get you, my friends.
True.
That 1 point is with you forever.
No decay.
Look, we've had a good few laughs at the moment, but of course these competitions, there's also some tough times, or maybe some worst experiences, whether they be all-nighters, lack of sleep, playing obnoxious games, flame out friendships. All these sort of things happen as well. So Paddy, and we'll go through each of you if you don't mind sharing. What's the worst experience for you from doing one of these sort of things?
It's a bit of a it's a hard subject, because with the GTASC, it's always been about friendship with me. So it's granted, the first year I didn't really know Meth, and obviously I'd known Rogue for a while through this other website. I think the hardest thing for GTASC was me actually deciding not to do it again, even though that I said that I was going to do it, and then watching what was going on from the background and not really being able to do anything, and sort of not actually gaming with 2 of my friends, because obviously they'd got teammates that needed them, and they couldn't be dicking about with me unless they needed someone there to help them get extra TA that I obviously could try and help, like if there was a boost and they needed it. But I mean, with their team chemistry that they'd got for that particular year, they game with Americans, so their time zones were a little bit closer to each other, so their boost wouldn't, like when we would boost, it would be either my early morning or their guys early morning or late nights, etc., etc. Whereas with America, it's a lot easier to sort of like, they'd be boosting at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. my time, and so I kind of couldn't do that. So it was like the actual distance that not being on the team was there for me to game with these two, because in the end of the day, they're good. I know me and Rogue give each other shit, but I generally like Rogue. So that was probably my hardest sort of drop in the GTASC as a feeling, other than something that's been slightly touched upon with one of the team members, that they actually was going to be in the team when I was going to be in the team, and he was in the team, and unfortunately he passed away mid competition, and that was sort of that hit me hard, because I actually spoke to him probably the most out of, because he'd been wanting to do GTAS WoW for many years, and he'd got a big mouth, and he rubbed people up the wrong way, and basically it just got too much for him. I don't know the real reasons behind it. I don't think anybody knows the real reasons behind it, but unfortunately he's not here anymore. So I don't want to say 2 things, but they're the 2 things that are disappointing out of the GTASC from recent times.
Yeah, that's very real. Beth or Rogue, do you want to add a worst experience?
I don't think I could add any much more than that there. I mean,
Can you get worse?
when that there happened, it was sort of just like, I mean, there was worse. No, there was worse. It was all the fucking pieces of shit on TA that were saying he was his friends, and were just fucking bullshit. Like, he hated his name, for example. The fella, he hated his name with a passion. Hated people using his name. So what happens after he passes away? Every person on TA, full fucking blog posts, full fucking forum posts.
With his real name.
Such and
what
such
Rogue
and such
means.
and such and such and
Yeah.
such. And you're like, well, if you actually give 2 shits about the guy, you'd shut your fucking mouth, because you know full well the guy didn't like any of that there. So basically, you're just a lying fucking toad who's running your mouth and trying to be fucking smart when you didn't know anything about the guy. You're just trying to get a bit of clout. You're like a thought.
Yeah.
That's one of the hardest lines because, you know, you mentioned before, if someone crosses you rogue or whatever, you move away from them. But that's one of the, and obviously not to detract in any way from this situation, but one of the things that I find with gamers is just unbelievable is that, you know, the people you know you, that's fine, or you intercourse, you know, you talk more careful, you talk with, it's okay. But these people that come out of the woodwork, like vultures, like obviously in this situation too, that don't know you, don't know anything about you, and they push this assumed, oh yeah, I know that guy is a fuckwit, or, you know, oh, that guy, blah, 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 or whatever. And I just, it's so rife. Again, in the trophy community, it's so rife that, you know, these people that don't know you at all, and they're suddenly there when something goes wrong or something, you know, or something like this happens. And it's just, it's like there's no boundaries for these people at all. And I always find that it's very alarming, but upsetting.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I struggle with this word, but you know, you're anonymous on this website. Like most people don't really know each other really. Like, you know, a persona that you've put onto this forum or this comp or this whatever, and that's what people know, and they think they know people when they don't. Yeah, so that obviously plays a part. But Rogue's kind of right. Yeah, he hated people using his actual name, like hated it. Like he wanted to be known by his gamer tag, which is fine. And yeah, when the tributes flowed in and they were using his real name, you're just like, yeah, it wasn't good. But anyway,
you're a fucking poser.
Yeah, that kind of stuff probably not on. But
yeah, well, fair enough. I just wanted to show it's not all, you know, it's not all laughs or whatever else by any means, especially something that runs for the length that.
At 48 weeks, if you can keep the team together, it's like, as we said about that Swedish team that decided to implode. After 48 weeks, it's not easy to sort of keep things together, and even just the actual team. The only person on our team that managed to keep anything sort of sensible the entire competition was Mephisto. And I'm not going to call Mephisto a doormat, but Mephisto sort of, he lets a lot of shit go. He lets a lot of shit go. And he's a lot more calmer and a lot more sort of, I'll let everything flow. Because if it was me or Paddy, it would have started World War III.
Constantly.
It would start World War III. I would have flew over to England and I would have stabbed him 16 times. 100%. 100% I'll be serving a life term right now.
See, the thing is, I was never confrontational with people that I didn't know. Like, I wouldn't go and verbally say anything in forums. I'm quite a quiet guy in the sense of my internet presence as such. Obviously, if I know you and I see something or want to say something, and I feel like I can say it to you, I will definitely say it to your face, because I'm the sort of person that doesn't want to say it behind your back. I will call it as it is. And I think Rogue is very much like, well, he's not like that in any sense. He's the complete opposite. He will just say what he wants to say no matter what. So for the first sort of 6 months, that kind of threw me, because I was like, how are you saying this to people? And then it got to me that, oh, actually, that's just how he is. And so I'm going to start throwing shit at him, because it was the only way to try and... If he was throwing shit at me, it kind of deflected the shit he was throwing at other people. So it was kind of like, it was my way of sidetracking him to not sort of go cause trouble. Because he's a sucker for trouble.
My look at it was like this here, though. My looking at it was like this here. If I cause trouble with other people, or get people to cause trouble with me, it leaves them two alone. Like when there was a cheater called Mr. Grandstaff. 100% cheater. He thought he was big and special, then he got banned off TA because he's a piece of shit. Probably a game saver, probably an account sharer. Who knows? I don't know exactly, but cheater. Anyway, he started on Mephisto for one reason or another that I don't know. So I had to do my part as a mate and start World War III.
And that caused their team to... You remember all that drama with...
I mean, there's no time to explain that. There's no time to explain that there one, Madeyepadeye. Mephisto's no time to explain that one.
Nice little pun.
I think I always think as Meph as sort of he's like the warning sign before the Rogue movie. I find he tells you all the things that could happen, and then it's sort of like if you wish to proceed, viewer discretion is advised, and that's how I see Meph. But as his role there or whatever else. But no, it's an interesting point you make, and this the problem is with a lot of online forums is you may know people like you guys obviously know each other very well, over a long period of time, and other people read things or whatever, and they think they can be involved or they think they can make a judgment call on someone they don't know at all.
That's right.
And it really falls down when, unfortunately, you do know that person. And so easy to mislabel people or misinformation. And also on the flip side, to assume that you're friends with someone because all you've ever done is pass, one or two messages on Discord or something. And there's a massive difference
between we're not friends.
No, not at all. Not at all, sir. No, but we talk. You know what I mean, though. You get this one random message.
If you wanted to go around one of the Swans game with me.
Yeah, no. Well, look, we can do that. But no, you know what I mean. Though.
You want to go watch Swansea play? They're rubbish. When are they going to have the next?
Buddy's going to kick his 1,000, and it's going to be great.
He's going to wheel him out in the chair to get.
He's going to be the last person in history to hit 1,000 goals.
Yeah, it could take him a while.
Yeah.
I know. Look, it'll be this wonderful season
He's
coming
5
up. Of
goals.
course.
If he doesn't get it week 1, Tom Papley can leave because Tom Papley needs to pass in the ball more.
That's right. But look, it's not all doom and gloom. Obviously, there's some great moments in these sort of events as well. They bring you together and everything else. So, Paddy, what's one of your best moments from doing one of these things?
It has to be our first win. I'm not going to lie. Because obviously we'd wanted it, we'd screwed up the year before, and getting that first win and beating what I think is hands down the best, one of the best competitive gamers, like single-handedly, his own physical talent. And yeah, we didn't beat him individually because obviously he won the individual competition. As a team,
we have a thing here, and it's we quit solo tournaments. We don't compete in solo tournaments. We could win solo tournaments. We don't try. So
No.
they really are you really the best if we don't compete?
The thing is, we always saw it as if we went
like
in it
saying,
as a team.
It's
It
like
was
saying
never a
this.
solo thing.
Is 1930s World Cups really accurate when the only teams that played were South American? I mean, Uruguay won 4 World Cups. Would Uruguay have won 4 World Cups if every team in the world played? I don't know.
Don't know.
I know what I think.
Yeah, but the only thing
I
is
think
you can
it's,
only beat what's in front of you.
It's true.
Yeah, but when there's only those, is it a World Cup? If it's not just the Copa America.
Yeah, but back then that was the World Cup.
Are you saying redemption denied is Uruguay? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not trying to say redemption. Or is that aimed at Met?
I'm not saying redemption denied eats people. Carlos Tevez. Suarez eats people. Redemption might eat people. I don't know.
Redemption is good because you sign him up for the second win.
He's an absolute beast, and he's a ganker. At core, he's a teammate. He's always going to be part of the team. I don't talk to Redemption all that much anymore, but hey, he's part of the team, so if he ever needed a hand with anything, the team's there for him.
The good thing about Redemption is he just got on. He wasn't there because he didn't need to speak to us that much because he knew if he did what he did and we just chugged along with how we gamed. There was moments where we would talk about stuff. Yeah, well, yeah, it was that.
X-Pov's our biographer that year.
Did that ever happen?
I don't know.
Not sure what happened there.
He was one of Grandstaff's mates, so it was a bit awkward there because we all hated Grandstaff because he was a cheater. And he was like,
I don't hate anybody.
That's a lie, and you know that.
That's why you need the Meph disclaimer here.
And Mephisto, what's your favourite moment from the competition?
Well, I can't really use the same as Paddy's, but obviously our first win was pretty good because we put a lot into it, didn't we? And that was really good. What else was my favourite moment? Obviously the mateship. clearly we were like maybe not at the start, but we're more than just a team. Like we spoke, even now we speak
are more than
every
a team.
day
We're a
pretty
dynasty.
much. Yeah, we're on. We got a group chat on Facebook, and we talk in there most days. So, and we haven't done GTASC together for how long? Probably 5 years. I don't even know how long it's been since we teamed up. So that's always good. Actually, one of my most favourite things as well was the first year we won. Midway through the year, TA ran the leapfrog contest, and my aim in that was to get as far as I can before Rogue found out. And I don't know what he must have thought was going on, but by like day 60, when I'm popping 60 achievements in middle of the year, keeping us alive just by myself, and he still didn't like cotton on until it got like really late in the contest.
I just think
that was pretty fun.
I just think it was the fact that I just didn't bother talking about it. I obviously knew.
You didn't know. You knew late.
Like,
you didn't have to do anything.
You knew late, but not early.
I was probably getting Challenger in League of Legends at that point.
Yeah, probably were, because I gave you a few weeks off. Legitimately, that was pretty fun.
So the last thing that I wanted to ask on this is because you've all three of you have expressed, we were talking before, your opinion that you're not going to do this again or whatever else, this competition, you're done with it or whatever else. And you ask anyone that does a competition when they finish, for the week after it, the month after it, they're like, I'm never fucking playing with those idiots again. I deleted them months ago. They're gone from my life. I'll find new people next time. But that's not the case for you. You're all talking, you're all friends or whatever well after the fact. But what would it take for you three to reform and come back in the future, or would it ever happen?
You go first. I'm gonna have a rant here.
Honestly, for me, it would take a lot, because I'd obviously when you do year-long comps back to back, it puts your family out, and I probably wasn't the best father, husband during that period of time. And I've kind of rectified that, and I think going back and doing it competitively again would undo, the good I've done since. And really, I didn't verbally promise to my wife I wouldn't do it again, but I know how much she hates because I get so obsessive. Like I'm in competitions to win. I don't think I could do it casually. I couldn't do it. It's not my mindset. So if I'm either giving my all or I'm not doing it, and I don't think I could do that anymore, just because, the stage that my life's in.
Yeah, I cut in a moment.
You can cut in.
On that regard for Mephisto, just to show Mephisto's dedication. We was in the competition a couple of weeks ago. I'm not sure if that was talked about on the podcast that I wasn't on.
A little bit.
But there's a reason why Jeremy J1 wasn't on the team. And that their reason was because he wasn't going to score enough points.
Yeah.
If it was here for be friendly, he would have been on the team.
That's right.
But when it's here to win,
and he was very upfront about that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all or nothing, and at this point, I think for me it's just nothing. I even if Rogue said, "Oh, we'll just do it casually," I know it would never be casual, so I couldn't do it. It would never be casual, so I just couldn't do it.
The abuse that would get from.
I would need enough money from Rogue to keep my wife happy in order to do it. That'd be the only way. And even then, that's probably not enough. So
Madeye's the rich one. Why are you asking me for money?
Rich?
Because Madeye probably doesn't want to do it either. No.
Madeye's dying to do it again.
Well, let's not speak for him. Maddie, what would you say?
I was going to say, right, so I would love to do it again. I'm going to put it out there. I would love to do it again. But I'm in a very similar situation as Meth. And I was sort of fortunate that the last year of having GTASC or competing properly in GTASC was the year my daughter was born. So I'd seen what Meth was going through and how it was affecting him and his family, and I didn't want to sort of follow on that. So I told my wife this year, even though that I'd committed to the team, I was going to stop. So it would be, as soon as my little girl is out of my house and I've got free time, then maybe. So come back to me in maybe she's 6 now, so 12 years. She's 18. She can fend for herself then, can't she? Is that an appropriate age to kick your daughter out of the house? 18?
Yeah, probably
12, 15.
15.
50? Nah, to be honest,
Gee.
she's got a home until she needs to leave.
Of
If
course.
she
Well,
wants
we're
to
in
be
boarding
there
school.
at 30, she's more than welcome to. Obviously,
Boarding school at 9.
boarding school.
I think there's a lot of merit to that. In 12 years, the games will be about 1 minute each for 1,000 G at the
Yeah,
max.
but it will
and,
still be
and come
TA
in and
difference,
sweep.
and that'll be negative points.
Nope, that's true.
It
You
might
reckon
be.
that's true?
Might
I
be
don't
TA
think
difference.
I could redo it again. Just I remember, because I'm going back, because I never got to have my last section.
Hmm.
The 3rd day of the year we won. Right, I was at work and I was doing a job, and I think I had Mephisto and Paddy on a Facebook call, stressing the life out of me, saying, "Are we safe? Are we gonna fall? Are we safe?" We were up by like 30,000 at this point, but I was having an aneurysm. That was a bad day for me. So I couldn't handle the stress. But I mean, I'd rather just have fun with them. If I'm being honest, I'd rather just have fun. You can have fun, but you can't have fun when you want to drive a knife into one of your very good friends. And that's what it would have eventually turned into. I mean, it's like Oriel. I don't really talk to Oriel anymore. I didn't really talk to Oriel that much previously, but it is what it is. It's very easy to ruin friendships in this competition if you're going for it properly. I mean, it's like there's half a dozen people I could say that Madeyepadeye is friends with that he's not allowed to be friends with as a member of the team. I mean, there's certain people that, well, I just can't believe he's friends with because they're just rampant cheaters or they're just assholes or I can't even remember the reasons why. To be honest, I'm just throwing words out.
Look, Rogue, you got to remember on the flip side, the whole Xbox community doesn't understand why he's friends with you. So,
He's friends with me because I'm
Probably true.
genetically superior to every one of them. I've got a cock on me the length of my arm. That's why I'm better than all of them.
Jesus.
It's the self confidence is the key asset in a dictatorship, sir, and you're not failing on any front. I like it, but look, why don't we? I'm conscious of the time. Why don't we move across then to the all important numbers for the month, the stats, if you like here, Meph. I know, the three of you, Jeremy J1 included here, and Eden Week, so 4, I suppose. I know you've all been killing it, but we'll dive into that. Paddy, I know you've probably been killing it too,
Netflix.
so we'll throw some love to you as well. Yeah, but do you want to take the floor here, Meph?
I do, and this could be a little bit long with me talking, so if anyone wants to jump in at any point, feel free because my
and that's
voice
the show, boys.
No, you're funny. So we'll go with. I'll start with. Shut up. I'll start with our October scores because that's the month just gone, and Eden Weeks led the month out of the 4 of us with just over a tick over 53,000. So that's a pretty big month. Jeremy just behind him with 52 and myself with 47 and Rogue in 4th. Do you know what you did, Rogue, in October?
About 1,200.
Nah, 11,000 you did in October.
This what I mean. I don't even turn up, and I still drop bombs.
So
Data's Latin.
Shut the fuck up, Rogue.
Okay, we smash you. But anyway,
You want me to turn up?
No, I've got some stats to show you just how much you don't turn up in a minute.
Clear.
Shut the fuck up, Rogue.
So now the yearly numbers.
I make what you make in a year in a day.
Okay. I don't think
Literal.
you can actually, but anyway, Eden 483,000 for the year, and that is quite a lot with 2 months to go. Jeremy behind him with 441, Rogue 416, and myself with 414. So I think I wrote in my blog that we're all on track for 500k, and unless Rogue has a big break in the last 2 months, we all will hit 500k. I think, which is a very big year.
800.
I think. What? And I've constantly said that how I want. It feels like we're scoring very rapidly from my point of view. I don't know exactly what Rogue thinks because he has big breaks, but so I actually decided this month to compare ourselves with the top 100 of the Gamerscore world, and I ran all the numbers, so I could see exactly how we compare with everybody.
Can I cut in for a moment? You said I can cut in.
Yes, you can.
Maybe this is why you're not allowed to do competitions anymore, because you're clearly not giving your family enough time. If you can crunch the numbers of 100 different teams, 100 different people.
Well,
No, look, I disagree. There's going to be people listening now that are about to have a wet dream over this. They love these sort of things, these stats.
and I love these
So
things.
please.
That's why I did it. I loved it.
He's obviously spent a week doing this.
Well, not a week, but it took me a little bit of time.
When the average game length you play is 5 minutes, you got plenty of time to fill.
Actually, there hasn't been any 5-minute games for a little while.
Why you've done all the numbers.
Yeah. So,
Where you finding the time, mate? What are you up to?
what I've done,
He's sitting there on the store waiting for the next 5 minute game.
it's instead of working, I'm just at my bench just doing this. No, not really, not really.
Okay. We'll let
Driving
you get
with
back.
his phone in his left hand.
So,
Don't use your phone when you're driving, kids.
no, don't do that. As I said, I've added up. Well, I didn't need to add some of it, but the top 100 of the Gamerscore world. So you would think they're the heavy hitters. Obviously, there's going to be people that are below with more points available that could be scoring more, like Estru's new account and stuff. But he's clearly high. But I can't go through everybody. You can't. So I had to draw the line at 100 because all 4 of us are in the top 100. So I thought that was a good way to put it. And we'll start with Eden because he's done the most out of the 4 of us. He's currently the 4th highest in the top 100 for the year. So he's, I think, about 80th and done the 4th most points out of everyone in the top 100. So clearly he's climbing rapidly. And Rogue's best mate, Jeremy, he's the next highest of the 4 of us.
Jeremy's me boy. It's just I wouldn't have him in a competition.
No, I know. I'm just
Jeremy's me boy.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon he is, Rogue?
What he's saying.
What do you reckon he is in the top 100 top 100 for the year?
9th.
He is 9th. How the fuck did you know that? But he is 9th.
Well, how do you
our stats, man?
I pick fucking teams, mate. I make teams. I know what people do. I just rolled that shit off the top of my head. I rolled that shit like fucking...
He's dropping some Moneyball shit on you now, isn't he?
Now. I couldn't believe
There's a reason why they call me the Pat Riley of this shit.
You're funny. And myself and Rogue, who are only 1,500 apart for the year, we are 12th and 13th.
Ooh.
So I'm the highest of the 4 of us on the leaderboard in 54th, but all 4 of us are, in the top 13 scorers in the world this year. Of the top 100. Obviously, like I said, there's people below us that are probably doing more, but just in the top 100. And I extended this a bit further, and I decided, because we've been, going crazy for a couple of years, I'll work it out for the last 2 years. So this year so far and 2020. And pretty much everyone goes up even further. Eden's the 3rd highest instead of 4th. So he had obviously a good 2020 as well. And Jeremy's 8th. Rogue is 10th because he had
I'd only started scoring in November that year.
And that's not quite true, but it's
not far off.
Near enough. And myself, I'm 12th. So I think that's, it shows that we're not scoring on par with our leaderboard positions. We're clearly scoring more than that. There's no reason why our scoring is going to slow down. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I thought that'd probably be about right. I knew there'd be some people in the top 100 that are going crazy, but, all of us to be in the top 13 shows that, we are pushing each other very hard. And with the amount of easy games we get, I don't see how it's going to, end.
Can I just say something? Do you feel like you need them to score for you to score more?
No. No.
Then why say they're pushing you? Because you can only beat yourself. They can never beat you. You can only beat yourself.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I feel, especially, I don't really know Jeremy or Eden, but it's clear Eden has a fair bit more time than me to game, I would say.
He also buys every single game on release. The guy's a fucking animal. He's
Which
an
is
absolute fucking
kudos
animal.
to him. If his life's set up that way, that's fine for him. And I'm not sure about Jeremy because he goes through fits and spurts as well, which I've got some more numbers which I'll talk about in a second. So I do honestly think Eden's going to pass all of us at some point. So
Unless I wake up in the morning and start.
Well, maybe I'll. That's a good transition over to these other stats I have then, because I knew we talked about it before that Rogue goes on breaks for long periods of time, and it's actually, when you think about it, it's actually crazy that he's able to score as much as he does. So I decided
I'm the best scorer in the world.
Shut the fuck up, Rogue.
that sure.
In my ability to score is second to none.
Can I add
Okay.
something
Yes.
before you move on to your next segment?
Yes.
All I got from that is your 4 places from the top 50. What are you playing at?
Why are you playing that?
I'm playing lots of things.
Yeah, but
Why
why
don't
are
you
you in
score?
the top
Why don't
50?
you score more than 1,000 points a day?
The funny thing was, I overtook the guy who was 54th, or I assume a guy. I'm saying guy. It could be a girl, but anyway.
Name them.
And then the gap to 53rd was like 35k. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, if you look down the
That's like
leaderboards,
2 days worth of scoring now.
no, only if you haven't played the games. But if you look down
I
the
can do that in
leaderboard,
about 8 hours.
the
you
gaps
haven't played the
between
game.
most people aren't that. There's a couple of thousand here, maybe a 5,000 gap there. There's no major gaps until you get like above 2 million gamer score. Like, this gap from 50 myself to the person in 53rd is huge in comparison to other gaps. So I'm slowly reeling them in because I'm doing 1 to 2,000 a day. I think I do know what I'm averaging. I'm averaging nearly 1,400 a day for the year. So that's like I said, that's more than most people in the top 100. So eventually I will rule that gap in and be top 50 soon enough, hopefully. So
Can I ask just before you do that, because this is something that interests me, because you're all roughly around the same amount of gamer score as well, give or take or whatever.
Yep.
And to me, it looks like you're all egging yourself on. And I know Rogue just asked, you play for yourself or whatever else. But I wanted to ask, are you feeling that because it seems, the rest of the world isn't, really keeping up, as you said, with these stats, without a exception of a few people. And the reason I ask is that over on the PlayStation side in Australia, for a long time, I've been number 2 by a long way back. There's no chance. And then the guy has basically stopped scoring, and I've clawed maybe 600,000 back on him over the last few months. And if he continues this way, I'll get him in the next month or two. But I've noticed that, on the third place in Australia has finally given up, I think, which is wonderful to see, and he just admitted defeat, and which has made it easier too. But for the whole time I've been gaming, I never considered that I would ever get there, because the guy was just a beast, and now that he's a bit like happened on your board as well.
Yeah.
It's how we get ahead, Meth, when they
That's
give us
it.
a chance. But, so I don't have anyone, pushing me at the moment, which I quite like. I'm just, I suppose, pushing myself. But do you think, is it this group of you all sitting around such a similar number at the moment that, that's pushing you on? Is that what it is?
I don't know. See, I think we're just playing all these easy games that are coming out, and we're not doing much else. So we're kind of scoring similar all the time. I can't speak for the rest of the 100 and why they're not scoring as much as us. I can't speak for that, but it's.
I don't have that Southern DNA.
No, I don't know, because if you're asking if I'm feeling the pressure and that's why I'm scoring, I'm not feeling the pressure, because if they pass me, any one of them pass me, so be it. But I'm not going to make it easy. I'm not just going to give up. Even when someone goes past me, I'm not going to give up.
Are you going to pull a Neo Master, play for 3 days, and then go, I can't do this, I'm going to go to sleep?
No, I'll always score points. To me, the Australian leaderboard, obviously being first is nice, and I would love to be first in Oceania at some point. Like,
Why don't you take it then?
Because I just don't have the games.
Take it. I mean, you can always find the games.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm like I've played every 0 to 1. I've played almost all the 1 to 2s. It's hard now.
What's your gap? What's your gap?
I'm not sure the gap to Neo Master. I don't know, because he is still putting up, 6 or 7k a week.
That's nothing. I wipe my ass on 7k a week.
It's a balance, because obviously I have a family. I work full time. I have to sleep. I'm a lot older than Rogue, so I do need my 8 hours sleep a night.
Yeah, but
so
we want you to get that job at first.
I would love all 4 of us to be above Neo
You're
Master.
hurting our feelings by letting him be in front of you when he's not as good as you.
I did jump the gun and set that goal probably a little early, which spurred him on. But to be fair, that's fine. Neomaster has been Neomaster has been number one in New Zealand for a long, long time, and obviously he inherited number one.
There's 9 people
in Oceania when I got first in Australia, and
a staggering amount of sheep.
Was it 19 sheep per person?
Shush, I'm giving you a compliment here. I kind of look up to you and
new.
Neomaster because you've
I
had
have to give my own compliments.
massive scores compared to me when I first started, and I'm like, one day I want to be, up where they are, and
Can I just throw this here? Can I just throw it out there? Do you know what Mephisto is to me?
Oh, here we go.
DJ, have you seen that? Have you seen that Ninja Turtles meme? Splinter with the Splinter with the little turtles.
What in the ooze?
Well, he's obviously Splinter because he's an old cunt.
I'm pretty old.
No, I bring them same as Paddy, same as a bunch of these people. Brought them up, and look where they are now. Making me proud.
Yeah,
making me proud.
Right.
For all these teams here, all the team people I picked to put on my team, they've all done good. I'm proud of what these here little lads have put together. These young ones.
I think you're in a unique position. Like I'm finding obviously it's a far more interesting leaderboard at the moment on the Xbox side in Australia than the PlayStation. But I think you're in a unique position with Neomaster because I think it's fair to say that he has more hours because I've looked at what he's playing and how he plays, and I have a lot, like we made some jokes, but I have a lot of respect because he doesn't tend to play the short easy games all the time. And but it's quite clear, if you play a lot of games, you know how long things take. It's quite clear that he also has the most time of any of us to game. The way that he plays and what he does play. So I think, in some ways you're up against it, but I think in the end you're definitely going to win because he as Rogue said, he just can't handle the shit.
That's right.
The shit wedge.
I don't know is it he can't handle the shit or is it just Mephisto's just that much better?
No, I'm not better.
I mean, you are though.
I don't see myself better than anyone.
Here. Let me throw it out there, please. He's like Mephisto's a stallion. This guy's like a donkey that's running in tier 3 races.
He is not.
He dominates. He's in New Zealand. He dominates tier 3 races. Mephisto's in Australia's like the Melbourne Cup. You see that there from the four of the top 13 scorers in the world are in Australia. How many people are in the top 100, top 500 in the world from New Zealand?
Well, I don't know about 500. One. I know Neomaster's obviously in the top 100. He's 45th or 40th or somewhere in there. I don't know exactly.
The man's a stallion. The man's gonna beat Neomaster like a red-headed stepchild. And
I think we're having a laugh or whatever. We're getting off track, but I think I think Paddy and I think all three of us. The funny thing is, all three of us in a way game very similarly. Like we have our games that we sink a shitload of time into. Be it Gems of War or Apex Legends or whatever it is. but on the flip side, we all have. And I never thought of this because I quite enjoy playing those short games, and I think as much as we laugh and we whatever we say, oh, they're bullshit or whatever, I think there is an element of us that enjoy that to a degree, and someone like a Neomaster clearly doesn't enjoy that. You can tell the way he plays, and I intend to ask him this next week because they've invited me on their Hall of Gamers or whatever it is. So I want to ask him about this, but. I want to ask him this question. I've got to state my claim as the number one in Oceania, from 2050 or whatever, as well. So, but I do think like whether it's a tolerance we build up to this or whether we do enjoy it, which I think, as I said, there's an element to it as well. But I think there are the problem is with a lot of those gamers up the top that they either did like it and they fall out of love with it, or they just can't do it for whatever reason, or they only ever got there because they didn't want to do it. They just did it because they had to get there. And I don't think that works over time. I think eventually you end up, they burn out or you catch them in the end. So I do think you're definitely going to get him.
Yeah, well, I have had a few chats with him since I set the goal and stuff. And obviously, I respect him because
I think he'll have it by Christmas.
No chance.
He'll have it by Christmas.
He was like high up in gamerscore, Neomaster that is, before all these easy games were a thing. And he hasn't really changed his play style. He still plays, well, obviously he's smashing through a lot of the Game Pass stuff that leaves, so he doesn't shy away from, even 8 to 10 hour, even longer completions. And his completion percentage is monstrous, and I'll never, ever get to that level. So, there's respect for that.
Yeah, but those people don't play all the games they might want to play because they're too infatuated.
That's true, but everyone has a choice to play what they want. And the way gamerscore is set up now, every 3 months, if he just had a month where he just blasted all the easy stuff, he'd probably keep me at bay because that's just, you can now. Like, I'm only doing one,
Would he keep me
maybe
at
2
bay?
games a day. So
Yes.
even he's, with the way he plays, he's doing roughly somewhere between the 5 to 8K a week. I roughly, since he stopped doing all the easy games, and I'm only doing 10 to 12. So obviously I'm gaining a little bit, but he's not playing any of the easy stuff that I am. So he could keep me at bay for a long time, which is fine. That's fine if that's what he wants to do. That's kudos to him. I only set the goal because obviously I've been on their podcast a little bit, and I watch it and I interact with the chat a little bit. So it was all a little bit of fun. I didn't actually expect him to blast off 100K month.
Did you do it solely for the reason that a member of that podcast said that you were shit and you couldn't score, and that they would be number 1 in Australia, and you weren't?
No.
You weren't shit. You weren't
That kind of
nothing.
started all this craziness, but
Yeah. Well,
But, yeah.
it's an interesting line. I look forward to when you go back on, because I don't think you've been on since you
no.
did that challenge, and he preached for a year, like the saint or whatever that he supposedly was, that he wouldn't buy any games, he wouldn't do the trash. You throw down the challenge, the next day he's spewing out shit everywhere.
That's right.
So I look forward to. You can't take the whore out
He's
of the
integrity.
achievement
He hasn't got the same integrity levels. If he's willing to compromise on his ideals like that, then you have to wonder about the person as a individual.
He obviously valued number 1 in Oceania, which is fine. Like, obviously, that's you're number 1. You're number 1 for a reason. Not many people can say they're number 1 of their continent, can they? So I respect that. I respect the fight.
And we're all dodging the shards of glass from our glass houses that are coming down around our heads at the moment. But let's move on with those stats.
Okay. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of, the way Rogue scores intrigues me, because he scores a ridiculous amount of points very quickly, and then has like months where he does nothing.
Dies.
And so that's what made me start to look at this. So I decided to look at how many days just this year we scored under and over a certain amount of points. And I thought, I can't do it at 0, which would probably benefit Rogue even more, because me and Eden Weeks like to keep an achievement streak. So every day we score at least one achievement. Every single day this year we've done that. So I decided to pick 300 gamer score, because that's about a quarter of what we're averaging daily for the year. So I thought, how many days have we done under 300 gamer score? And Eden has obviously the least amount of those, which is 28 days. Only 28 days this whole year he's scored less than 300 gamer score, which
Eden's
I think is
a beast.
crazy.
Eden's an absolute animal.
Myself, there's been 39 days this year, which didn't really surprise me because I'm pretty consistent, I think. I'm not a huge scorer on any given day, but I'm very consistent. Then there's Jeremy. He's 82 days this year. He's done less than 300 gamer score. And then the one that interests me the most, obviously, was our boy Rogue. And how many days do you reckon this year, Rogue, you've done less than 300 gamer score?
This year, how many days are we in this year? Was it about 300 days?
300 days in, yep.
190?
No, you've gave yourself a little bit too much credit. 146 days this year. So over half, or we'll say half the days gone this year, you've done less than 300 gamer score, which is crazy when you've done, 416 for the year.
So what do I average a day that I play, and what do you average a day that you play?
Well, I haven't gone that in depth, but it wouldn't be hard to work out, really. You would average 416 divided by 150, so about 2,500.
What you're trying to say is basically, I dominate the competition if I can be bothered to turn up. I'm what you call Paul Pogba. I'm Paul Pogba.
Well,
Lazy.
I'll show you. Because I did the opposite. I decided, all right, how many days this year have we had more than 3,000 gamer score, which is, double what we're averaging. And for myself, that's 23 days that I've done over 3K, which probably isn't surprising because, as I said, I'm pretty consistent, 1 or 2 days at most, usually. Then there's Jeremy, who's next. He's had 33 days this year over 3K. Then there's Eden with 35. And then Rogue, there is you with 40 days over 3K. And I didn't check myself, Eden or Jeremy, but I went further and decided to check how many days over 10K this year. Rogue, how many do you reckon days you've had over 10k this year out of your 40?
I'd say probably 9.
You've had 12. So that's just that's just mental. There's 12 days this year you've done more than 10k. So it's
So
120k of your score in 10
basically, I
days.
score what I
12
score.
days.
The average Xbox user has about on TA. I think it's TA, or it might be Xbox, has about 90,000 gamer score.
I'd say that.
I remember reading that somewhere. I score what the average person scores in their lifetime in a week.
Or 12 days.
A glorified week.
Yeah.
Glorified week.
So
it's a Queensland.
really, there's nothing there that I was shocked by, really, because I knew Rogue.
Mad Monday. We include Mad Monday at the pub.
Mad Monday.
That's right. You know what, Paddy? If we do this again, I think we'll have to get a stat for us of how many days we actually scored over 300 points. 'Cause I think it'd be alarming.
I would say 14 days when we did that gamerscore competition.
We did the comp.
That's right.
Yeah, because that's the only time when I score.
Yeah.
Because I'm
That is what
now
you
at the
call
point where
competition gamer. He only turns up when the money's on the line.
That's
it
right.
only
That's
turns up
He
when it
only
matters.
turns up at the end of the competition.
Does anything
Yeah.
surprise anyone there, really, from those ones?
I thought my 3K would be higher, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was thinking 50.
Right.
It doesn't surprise me because the longer you play, I suppose the way you play Meph surprises me more because, you're so consistently plodding along, for want of a better term. Whereas the longer I play, the more on the PlayStation, the more I feel the way Rogue plays is the better way for me too, in that I play my Final Fantasy 14, I play my AAA games, and then once a week or once a fortnight or whenever I feel like it, I just smash everything that I have short pretty much and get it over and done with.
Yeah.
I don't like this slow drain that seems to be, because I lose so much time that way, I feel.
If you could put Mephisto in as a football player, in my Paul Pogba example, how would you put Mephisto?
Well, I'm just.
He's like the goalie, isn't he?
I'm
He's
just very
not gonna win the
consistent.
match for
I was
you,
gonna
but
say, I
he's not gonna.
was gonna say he's a lot like a Paul Scholes, an absolute dominating beast that's there for years and years and years and years. It probably doesn't get the notoriety he should get when he's playing around superstars. But he's literally the engine room of the entire scene in Australia.
I knew it'd be like that though, because I know how I play. So I knew I'm just very consistent. I've just kind of extended the achievement streak idea to just doing a game a day, kind of. That's basically what I do. There's some days I don't get even the time to do an easy game, so I make that up. But yeah, it's just I don't have the big smashing days very often. I just one game a day, and that's the way I've been pretty much for 2 years. So
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just different.
it is
As you were
different.
saying, Meth, is
Yep.
you and Rogue have got pretty much the same amount of gamer score.
Mm.
Yes.
So in retrospect, if you did what Rogue did and didn't play anything for a couple of days, or just got your achievement, you could do exactly what he's doing because he's playing the same games as you. He's just doing it in short bursts, and you're doing it every day, which is why his numbers are so high. It's not that he's putting any more
You've
gamer
got to
score up
understand
than
what
you.
I say, it's not as easy. And you say this here, but it's like preloading. It's like saying, well, I've got 100k preload, I'll drop 100k today. It's not as easy as that there. It's
No,
not
it's
as easy as simply turn up and go, well, I'm going to drop 50,000 points in one day. Done.
Yeah, like, what you got to understand, Paddy, playing the hedgehog game 10 times in a row for 40,000, it's exhausting, man. It's exhausting. You've got to understand this.
I wish
I've
we
done
could.
it. So I know
I
exactly.
know.
But I would have rather have done it in one go than
Yes.
do the 1,000, then forget the game, and then do the title update, and then do the game, and then do the next title update. Especially with something like the sort of what's the Dark Tropics one?
Oh yeah.
That one, Dear Grem, whatever it is. That's now easier. It's harder to do. There's more stuff I had to go replay to get the title update than if I'd played it from. I actually spent probably longer trying to get the title update achievements than playing the game. So if you come fresh to it now, like Meth would have had a harder time getting the title update than Rogue would have got the 4K.
Yeah, that's very true.
So there are sort of instances where Rogue's method is going to be much better, and also there's more knowledge. So when Meth's doing a game at the beginning of its life cycle, there may only be one guide. When Rogue's doing it, there might be 7 because pretty much the guide makers are all clones of each other, and they make the same guide.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of merit. I mean, the other fact too is that if you do it all in one go, you only need to visit Meph's profile once every 2 weeks because it's like a shit magnet, and then you'll see everything that's quick, and you can do it all in one go as opposed to having to research it yourself. So he's doing us all a big favor, really.
Indeed.
Yeah. It can be hard because, as I've said before, I've pretty much done every 0 to 1. So yeah, we're not getting 7 0-1s a week, and I'm doing a game a day, so I'm having to, look through even more and more shit. So, yeah, I get really weird about some games sometimes, and I'm like there's some games I'm just putting off for no reason. I don't even know why. Like Paper Ground Brawlers, it's a 0 to 1. It's like my last 0 to 1, other than a few ACAs which I won't play, but I don't even know why, but I just won't play it. I'd rather play like a 1 to 2 because it's just something about it. I've read the guide and I'm like,
Who made the guide?
That happens all the time.
It's a TA walkthrough.
Is it the person that makes all the TA walkthroughs? It was the same person that you sabotaged?
Probably.
I like it. Is that the wrap of the numbers?
Yeah, that's all I got this week. I'll come up with more next week.
That is a ton. And look, we're really in the weeds here, but I find this stuff fascinating, and I know there'll be people that are like, this is just insane, but it is interesting, especially to see the comparisons for how I'm playing on the other side or whatever. So I do appreciate the work you put in.
If we're going to talk about stats, how about this here then? What does Mephisto project us to be on by this time next month?
Oh, does he have those numbers?
This time next month, well, that depends. Are you scoring or are you having a break?
That's not part of the conversation here, friend.
Well,
you need a crystal ball.
Well,
how long is a piece of string?
I can only do it by averages, and 10 months gone, you've done 416k. So you're
what have I done recently?
41k.
You're only as good as your last fight.
Your last fight is terrible.
I mean, I'm like big. What's his name? Big Boy Brown.
Yeah.
When he fought Paul Gallen and was sparked in the first round. That's what I'm only here for the money.
It's hard.
I'm eating sausage rolls in the dressing room before the fight.
I think I'm going to dive a game a day for the next 2 years, and then just smash 500k out in a weekend.
Yeah, you should.
And then put the numbers in front of Rogue and go, there you go, Rogue. There's the numbers.
Yeah, but Xbox will be dead by then. I'll be playing Switch.
Switch.
No, not it.
There's Xbox on Switch.
Yeah, I know. I've got it in the next room.
Shut up, fuck cry. There's a blooper for you.
So thanks so much, guys, for joining me tonight again. If you made it this far, you are hardcore. You are definitely one of us. So look, if you want to reach out, you can. Probably not to Rogue unless you want an abusive message.
Don't add me on TA. Follow me on Twitter and follow me on Twitch. But if you add me on TA, I will not add you.
There you go. He said it. Now, Paddy, do you want anyone to follow you? Meph, what do you want? Are you happy to fly below the radar, or are you open?
Well, I don't mind. I accept most requests on TA. Sorry if I jumped in there, but I accept most requests on TA unless you got that big red stop sign on your tag. So yeah, I don't mind.
Well, your name's Mr. Grandstaff.
Well, his name's not that now. It's Sir Polygon.
He's gone.
So Sir Polygon. Now, do you know what? Next podcast, let's put this in for the forums to discussion. Should next podcast be about Mephisto's affiliation with people starting fights with people who are cheaters?
How many times have I done that? Once. Anyway, Paddy's turn.
Well, we'll save that for next time. And Paddy, if people want to get in touch, is that an option, or you prefer to fly below?
I don't care. I'm just.
He likes donations.
If you want to talk to me, talk to me. If I don't want to talk to you, I won't. I'm not as harsh as Rogue. I'll actually acknowledge you, but with a message saying I don't know.
I had someone at me today. He's got one friend, and his one friend's Eden, and he's got 33,000 gamerscore. I don't know you.
Well, clearly,
for all I know, you could be a paedophile.
He wants to watch you from both angles. I don't know. Maybe just ask the question. I tend to, if someone sends me a message on TA, I tend to reply back.
He could be trying to steal my identity.
He's not trying to. Who would want to steal your identity?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Look-
I'm going to put that bait after we stop recording.
Look, they are all very approachable. Look, they even let a Sony pony infiltrate them to learn their secrets to take to the dark side.
Yeah, you're right.
They are wonderful gentlemen. Mephisto4thewin, Rogue 1992, and Madeyepadeye. You can find them all over the Xbox. Look, sometimes you can even find me as well. Have a great month, I suppose, and we will catch you perhaps in the same lineup if we're lucky again in a month's time. Thanks so much, guys.
See you soon.
Ciao.
Bye.